there's not a husband and a wife. There's two people living independently of each other. Their intimacy is gone. There's no real connection or relationship between them except a sort of negative attachment based on their mutually combined financial structure, or the fact that they have children together, or that they've bought this house together, or that they're in business together, or that they don't want to rock the boat or appear to have failed in their relationship in their community or in their family. So these are negative attachments. These are negative binds. And if you continue to live in that way for a prolonged period of time, it actually affects your spiritual understanding of who you are. It affects your emotional state of mind. I would say that the emotional range for people in the type of relationship that I'm talking to is on the lower scale, somewhere hovering around depression, frustration, anger, and upset. So happiness, joy, full self-expression is no longer available when you're trapped in one of those kind of relationships. I'm here to speak with you today to answer your questions, and the phone lines have started to light up, and I'm going to go ahead and take some of these calls. But I'm here to answer your questions so that we can begin to unlock and unblock this type of relationship and get some freedom, some full self-expression, and that means having a healthy life, being wealthy, having intimate relationships, great sex, and real authentic conversations and communications between yourself and the people in your life. So I'm going to go ahead and take these calls. Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
That's good. I just have a question.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, this is for people who want to get married.
Do you want to get married?
Actually, no, I'm already married.
Okay.
But this is a question basically for my siblings, because sometimes they come and ask me questions, and I say, wow, you know, my condition when I got married was very different than, like, I got married when I was 21, and
Right.
they're in their late 30s, and they want to get married. And one of the issues that has come up is the old, I guess, argument about money.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering,
what is the old argument? Like, enlighten me a little bit about what do you mean?
Well, you know, like,
I can only guess at what I think you might mean, but
he has to have a house, and
yes,
he has to have this and that. You know, I guess you're maybe a bit familiar with the Persian culture.
I'm very familiar with the Persian
married
culture.
myself. Husband, he didn't even have a job, and we got married.
Yes.
Because I loved him, and he didn't have a car, he didn't have a job, he didn't have. He had an education, and I thought, you know what? He'll get a job, and I'll get a job, and you know, we'll live simply. We don't need.
And has that happened?
Yes, it has.
And is this and you know, I don't know if your husband's watching the show right now.
He's not.
But is the affection, the affinity, the communication and intimacy still there in your marriage?
Yes, yes.
And how long have you been married?
18 years.
And you were married when you were 21. How old was he?
26.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I really mean that, because statistically, highly unlikely, and I would say that you are an exceptional human being, and so is your husband.
Oh, thank you very much.
You know, you're exceptional in that I'm almost certain that at age 21 and 26, you hadn't had any particular education in relationships.
Yeah, actually, he was the first person that I went out with.
Right, so it's not like you went to relationship class or got some consulting or any of that kind of stuff before you got married. You just got married at 21 and 26 because you loved each other, right?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, great. And neither one of you had any money, and you worked it out.
That's right.
And how's it going now?
It's going well, not too bad.
Okay.
But my question is regarding my siblings.
Yes.
Like one of my siblings was interested in getting married, and you know, I told her about how when my husband and I got married, we didn't have much, and she said, well, I'm not you, I'm different. You know, I want my husband to have this and that and that. And
well, she's a lot older too, isn't she?
She is, and he is.
Okay.
I'm thinking, like, my understanding is I'm stuck in that mentality that you don't really, you know, like, if there is love, you work it out. But
well,
am I wrong?
Yes. Yes. In your case, you're an exception. I don't want to make too big of a deal out of it, but I don't want to fail to underscore, to underline that the exception often proves the rule. Do you know what I mean? Have you heard that expression before?
No.
Well, you're an exception.
Okay.
Okay, you're an exception. That's why I really acknowledged you. I wasn't just kidding or just trying to do total off or something like that. You're actually very exceptional in that statistically, it's kind of unlikely in this day and age, and I don't want to like quote a bunch of numbers and stuff, okay? But it's unlikely that marrying for love at age 21 would last 18 years, and 18 years later, if I asked the person, how's it going, they'd say, it's great. It's just not that likely to happen, okay? And so even though I know that that is the model that's sold on the movies and in the romance stories and all that and in the love songs, my experience with working with thousands of couples is that it doesn't often work out that way. And what I'm speaking about specifically is marrying for love, and let's let it all work out however it does. So I'm speaking specifically of that particular type of arrangement that you've had and that you've made it work. That's unusual. So to address your question about your, I guess it's your sister, right?
Yeah, actually brother.
It's your brother.
Well,
you said she, so I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, actually I have brothers and sisters.
So you have brothers and sisters. So here's the thing. Marriage is a deal. It's a business deal. Now, I don't mean to strip it completely of all romanticism, but when it gets right down to it, you're joining your life and your family's life with another person's life and family life. You're joining your finances with them, your body with them, your mental state, your spiritual state, your emotional state will be influenced by them from now on. You understand?
Yes.
Now, human beings are highly unreliable for the most part. We're imperfect, we make mistakes, we do stupid things, we're influenced by all sorts of outer influences that can take us off track. Very, very few people have the ability to stay with something even though it's uncomfortable as hell and stay true to themselves and stay true to their commitment. Very few people have developed in this generation, your generation, that ability. That when it goes through a hard time and it seems like everything is falling apart, most people today will bail out. They'll say, I'll get a divorce. That's okay, I'm just out of here, right? Yep. Most people are looking for the easy way out. And marriage is not that. Marriage isn't the easy way out of anything. Marriage is one of the most complex relationships you can have, and that's why it's a great thing to have. That's why it's a good deal, but it's not because it's easy. So marriage is a deal in the sense that you're going to be signing loan papers together, you're going to be merging your properties and the place that you live, you're going to be merging so many things. And for that reason, just like if you were going to, say that you were a great chef and you had a really good bunch of recipes and you knew exactly how to make it, and somebody else had some experience with the restaurant and you said, hey, let's go do a business together, right? Wouldn't you be interested in checking out at least if they've had any success in having businesses work in the past?
That's correct, yeah.
You know, you check it out. It's a business deal, isn't it? Right? So you would...
I never thought of it as a business deal.
Well, but I know you didn't because you were 21 and you married for love. But that doesn't give you a complete perspective, you understand? Because maybe love is certainly an essential and important part of marriage. But so is money. So is money. Mostly, I think if you check the city records, which I have, divorce and bankruptcy usually go hand in hand. You'll usually see them filed within a few months of each other. The same people getting a bankruptcy will later get a divorce, or getting a divorce will later get a bankruptcy. They seem to, money problems and relationship problems are very much tied together. So I don't want to make it be like the most important thing, but it's certainly an important element. And so when it comes to men in particular, a man needs to feel that he has the wherewithal to support a family. Now, whether he currently has that, I mean, maybe like in your case, I think you said that your young husband was in school or developing his career or something. So it's not like he had made his fortune, but you could see from where you were standing that he was going to be all right.
Yeah.
He's going to make it. He wasn't somebody hanging out on the couch flipping the channels.
That's right, yeah.
Right? This was a go-getter. This was somebody who had graduated and who was going to start a career. So you made a pretty sure bet, you know? You could pretty much rely that this guy was going to probably have the wherewithal to support a family at some time in the future, even if he didn't have it that day.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah? So now if he was 30 or 32 or 35 or 40, you know, you would want to see that he had already had a track record of making some money and saving it and maybe sharing it, you know, like being able to not just all spend it on himself or something, but that he had a tendency to want to be supportive and generous with his assets. That's an essential part of being a husband and a father, is being willing to work hard and get money, or get money however you do, and share it with your family.
Okay.
Yeah?
One question. What
Yeah.
if the person that, okay, if it's the guy who is, I don't know, in late 30s or whatever,
Yeah.
is marrying somebody who has basically nothing.
Yeah.
Like, when I say nothing, I mean nothing.
Okay.
How do they need to sit down and, you know, maybe he's got some things in, but I know a lot of marriages break down because of money.
Yeah, first of all, if in that situation, I have something that we call a marriage contract that my wife Azita and I filled out. It took us 6 hours. We sat in a restaurant for 6 hours. We actually ended up ordering 2 different meals, lunch and dinner. Okay? But we said we're not leaving here until this is completely filled out and discussed, because we knew that the answers to those questions would determine once and for all, really, whether we ought to get married or not. Okay? Now, I had proposed to her and she had accepted my proposal, and then we entered the next stage called negotiation. You know, I don't want to just plug my CDs here, but this is a perfect place to do it if I was going to. I have some CDs called The 12 Stages of Romantic Relationship. I highly recommend that anybody even considering getting in a relationship of any kind, or whether you're already in a relationship and you've run into any roadblocks, that you listen to those CDs like repeatedly. And you can buy them online at embracegrowth.com, and it's 2 CDs. And I talk you through the stages of relationship that really need to be followed. My discovery has been that if you skip some stages,
Yes.
you'll probably go back 2 stages. Marriage is like about stage 5 or 6. It's not in the beginning. There's many stages of development in a relationship before you ever actually move in with each other as a man and wife. I've found that people that skip these stages either end up in my office or some other coach or therapist's office or a lawyer's office.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, so it's like really one of the most inexpensive ways you could train yourself in relationships is by listening to those, and also my wife's book, Girl Talk, which is in English and in Farsi, which is from a woman's point of view. You know, it's the wisdom that women have passed down through the ages and that she's gotten from her mother and her aunts and her grandmothers, but it is really, I believe that this generation has lost that wisdom. I don't see it in the upcoming generations, and so writing Girl Talk has been her gift to the current and future generations to pass on some of the wisdom, because these are women, most of the women from that generation are married once and for a lifetime, many of them. You know, I don't know about your mom and your mom's mom, but like they married once and for a lifetime.
Yes, correct, yeah.
And years later, when you ask them how they and their husband are, they love each other to death. There's something to that. There's something they had that has been lost in this generation. And one of the things is the ability to be committed to something larger than your own life, something bigger than your own personal wants and needs and expectations. But to get back to your question about your brother and marrying somebody who has a less financial stature, that was really your question, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you discuss in a marriage contract is money. Yours, hers, ours, how you want to spend it, save it, use it, what to do with it. It's an important element. It's only one of many. You know, money, sex, family, religion, all of these things are stuff that people get crazy about. People do weird stuff about, right? And they all think, like yourself, that it'll all work out. In your case, it seems to have worked out, right?
Yeah.
But that is not the case for more than 50% of the people that get married. The divorce rate is 51%, and if you count the in-house divorces that I was speaking of earlier, where people are actually living in the same house, but they're actually emotionally, psychically, and spiritually, and every other way divorced, they just live in the same house, then it's probably like 65%. I would say that my estimation is that about 35% all marriages actually continue for a lifetime. And of those, we don't know how many of people are actually happy, you know, but our commitment is that people actually are happy in their life and that they're fulfilled by their relationship and that their lives contribute to other people. It's one of the things I'm going to talk about here today is about how is it that your life, your relationship, what are you leaving for future generations? You know, is it something that will outlast your own lifetime? Could your relationship with your husband be something that contributed to people ongoingly even after you're gone? Have you ever considered that? So I see that you have considered it or you wouldn't have made this call.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. Are you listening to the phone or the television?
Oh, no, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Thinking about
yeah,
what
you're thinking about
saying.
it.
Okay.
Well, I think that you're concerned about having your relationship to contribute to others, but listen, you're not able, you may not be able to always transmit everything that you can instinctively do. You know, there are things that I can do, but I'm not very good at teaching them, you know? And they just sort of come natural to me. But if I, you know, like I can sing. All right, I'm a singer, but I wouldn't dare take on trying to teach somebody else how to sing. I don't know why I can sing. My mom and dad sung, and I could sing since I was a kid, so I sing. But that doesn't make me a voice coach, you know?
Do you have some seminars for people who want to get married?
Yes.
Like, to see if, I'm talking about both, like the couple to come to this thing, not just, you know, like, I know a lot of single people take a seminar and stuff like that, but...
Now, are you located in LA? Where are you located?
We're not, actually.
Yeah. But the other thing that my wife and I do is we do phone sessions with people from all over the world. So that number that's at the bottom of the screen there, that 460-2600,
Yep.
that's a 310 number. That's Los Angeles. That's our office. And people call, and we set up phone sessions with people from all over the world. And so it's like having your own private seminar. It's actually maybe less expensive than traveling and staying in a hotel for a couple of days. Then we can coach people ongoingly with their particular personal issue.
I see.
Sound
okay.
good?
And one more question I have. What are your thoughts about internet dating?
Well, it's not dating, it's just fantasy. Anybody that you're talking to could be virtually anybody. You really don't know who they are. You know, to me, it's not dating at all. It's another step removed. See, I'm for a hands-on relationships. If you can't see them, touch them, taste them, hear them, smell them, you know, be present to them, then you're in a fantasy world completely. Yeah, only what somebody types on the board and that whatever they send you over the internet is what you're relating to. I could send you anything. I could be 14 different people if I had a multiple personality. It's complete fantasy.
People see what they want to see.
Well, and people tell what they want you to know. But 90% of our communication is nonverbal. I'm communicating with you right now on so many different levels. You're only the words that I'm saying is a very tiny part of what I'm saying. You're able to see things in my face and my eyes and my body gestures and everything that have an understanding and a relationship with me beyond just my words.
That's correct, yeah.
Now, pretend I'm typing these words to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally, you would have no relationship to me at all. Only what I want you to know. But see, over here in front of this camera, I can't hide. You could see, you're a fully developed human being. You see whatever you see. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
So that's different. You got to be able to see them. You got to eat food with them. You have to like do things with them in order to know who they are. Yeah. Got it? I want to see what kind of car they drive. I want to see how they dress themselves. I want to smell and see if they took a shower. Do you know what I mean? I want to know about this person.
I want to see how they drive.
Yeah, all that stuff, right? I want to see how they.
About the person, how
I want to see how they handle a fork.
They're stressed out.
Yeah, I want to see how much they drink. I want to see all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I want to know who I'm relating to. You know, because I personally value myself and I value my life and I value my time, and I don't want to waste it on somebody I don't even know or who may be pretending to be something they're not. And here's the other thing. There are, I don't care where you are, you could be out in some little tiny town someplace, there are hundreds of people to relate to within your radius, unless you're like isolated yourself someplace, in which case I got to ask you, why'd you do that, you know? So people who ignore all the physical human beings around them and go get on the internet and have a relationship with somebody, I've got to ask you, you know, what's wrong with the people that are in your current environment that you're not able to actually, you know, have an expression with them? I discourage internet dating because even the word itself is a lie. Do you understand?
Yeah, because
it's a word that's a lie. It's like jumbo shrimp, right? Or military intelligence, or you know, I don't mean to make a political statement, but do you know what I'm saying? It's an oxymoron. Internet dating? Dating means I knock on your door, I bring you flowers, I take you out, you get to watch me drive and eat and order and interact with people, I hold your hand, we talk, you hear my voice. That's dating.
Yeah, because you know, you hear a lot of people, either Iranian women or men.
Yeah.
They, you know, talk to, like, they do internet dating, they go to Iran, they get married, and then they come back and they are married. Like, that's
complete insanity to me. You ask my opinion, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I don't
nuts.
get it either.
It's crazy.
I think people get, I don't know,
Yeah. Let's fly over the heads of 250 million people and, you know, go marry somebody that I've never seen before. How about visiting the people in your neighborhood first? You know, maybe there's somebody right there. Yeah. I think it's weird.
Well,
okay, listen, thank you for calling. Thanks for watching the show.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, thanks. Before I ask my question, actually, since I was listening to you with talking to the previous caller regarding the internet dating, since I've done that for, I would say, 4 or 5 months, it's not actually, the actual dating doesn't start from there. It's just a kind of introduction. I mean, people provide some kind of profile and they explain about themselves, their interests, their jobs, perhaps their salary, and they post some pictures, stuff like that. Yes. And if you find someone interesting, then you take it from there, and then you go out and meet, and you start the actual dating from there.
I understand.
It didn't work for me anyways, but I mean, since I was listening to the conversation, I just thought maybe I should mention this.
What you just described was internet introductions leading to dating, and I think that that's great. She was asking me about internet dating. I know people who talk to me all the time who say, I've been dating someone for 5 months. Oh, really? They've never seen them, they've never laid eyes on them, they're on the internet, but they call it dating. So I'm talking about that as opposed to internet introductions. I think meeting someone on the internet is very fine, but as soon as possible, I think that once you've clarified for yourself that you're interested in meeting them, that you should go on ahead and go do that.
Yes, that's what I had planned to do that. However, I never got to the point to meet actually somebody since the conversation. I mean, the communication didn't go there very well. And as you mentioned earlier, I value myself, I value my time, and I realize that actually it's very extremely hard to find your mate over the internet.
Absolutely. And I think for women, I just want to say that for women...
for over the last 6 years.
You've been single for 6 years?
I haven't been in any kind of relationship. I don't know if it is... I value myself, I have standards for myself. I can't just be with somebody just because, you know, he's attractive or he has a good job or whatever. Yes. And as you mentioned, I try to consider people around me at work.
Yes.
However, they're either involved in the marriage, or even if they have girlfriends, I still think this is a kind of involvement, and I have problem with that. I have seen many guys who show interest, and they are in a relationship. They already have girlfriends. I was very strict about this, and from the beginning I thought, okay, that is something that I can't accept. Since it has been repeated many times, I'm thinking, could it be the culture in North America, by the way I live in Canada, that guys or girls, they remain in a relationship and they stay there until they find someone better, and then they I don't know. Is it the way? I'm just starting to think maybe this is the way, this is the culture. Maybe I'm just too hard on them.
No,
or
well,
maybe I'm just tired of being alone. I've got to a point that I'm really, I don't know, I'm kind of confused. There are so many people around me. I'm a good-looking woman, and they show interest. But as soon as I start to look to that, I understand that they already have somebody.
Okay, I got it. So I understand your question. So I'm going to go ahead and answer your question. I think there's a confusion from what I've seen and what I just heard in terms of the terminology. You know, relationship is one word, dating is another word, monogamous relationship is another word, but they all seem to be mushed in together in one indistinguished soup of words that seem to all mean the same thing to you. Just like when you said that you were dating online. No, you weren't. You weren't dating online. You were being introduced to people online. So my recommendation to you in particular, but to all people that are watching this show, is to begin to be a little bit more rigorous about your language and how it is that what it is you're actually talking about. And again, that's one of the things that I speak about and clarify in the 12 Stages of Romantic Relationship, in a CD set that's called Legacy of Love, and also in Girl Talk. You know, dating is actually going out and visiting people. We've talked about that already. But relationship means that there's three things that define relationships. One is continuity. It's ongoing, you know. One is commitment, meaning that you have a commitment to being in a relationship. You can't be in a relationship without some kind of a commitment to being in a relationship. So if one person is committed to being in a relationship and the other one's not, you're not in a relationship, okay? And then dating is about developing your social skills, and as far as I'm concerned, people should date 2 or 3 people at a time until and unless you have a specific agreement with one person to have a monogamous, that means you don't date anyone else and they don't date anyone else, relationship. Now, a monogamous relationship means I'm only going to date you, I'm only interested in dating you, and I request that you only date me and that you don't take phone calls or have internet intrigues with anybody else but me. And that's what a monogamous relationship is. And the only reason you'd have a relationship like that is because you would be interested in finding out if you were going to marry this person. So that's what I call a long-term committed relationship. Do you understand? There's 2 kinds of relationships, long-term committed and short-term recreational. And if you're dating somebody who's in a short-term recreational relationship with another person, well then the answer to your question, which was, is it normal in North America that men will just date someone until somebody else comes along? Wasn't that something like that?
People I am referring to at work, it's more than just dating. They go on trips together, they sometimes live together.
Okay, that's not dating.
Okay.
That's not dating, okay? That's a committed relationship. If I'm going to spend my time, money, and energy and sleep with someone...
for them to look around to see if there is anything...
No, I would... yeah, right. Listen, I'm not saying that people have integrity, okay? For the most part, they don't. And it sounds like you have a certain level of integrity in that you don't want to be involved with somebody that's involved with somebody else, and I honor you for that. I respect that, and I'm glad for you that you have that level of integrity for yourself. Not only because it means that you respect yourself, but also you respect the other women.
Exactly.
You know, and you wouldn't do that to them, and that makes you, you know, be a more honorable woman. Here's the thing. People will use you or their date, their girlfriend, until something better comes along. Okay? Men get away with that because women let them do it. All right? For every man that is using women, there are women that are allowing him to do that.
Yes.
Right? Now, you're not one of those women, are you?
No.
You're not going to let any guy use you, and that makes you very, very valuable as a woman. That means that you could actually use your love, your beauty, your wisdom, and your graciousness to cause a transformation in a man who may not know it better. Because he doesn't know better doesn't make him a bad person.
But I don't,
it just maybe all of his buddies are doing that.
I don't even consider them, because as soon as I realize that this guy is already involved in a committed way with another woman, it's just a turn off for me. I don't respect that guy anymore. I can't even consider him.
I got it. Well, here's something that may be useful for you. You could have, if you were approached by a man and you ask him, are you in a relationship of any kind with any other woman? Mm-hmm. Right?
Okay.
If he says yes, say, well, I don't date men that are in relationships with other women, but when you're available, give me a call. And if I'm available, I'll go out with you. Mm-hmm. You will have already set and established for him that you are a woman who values himself. He'll have to go away and think about that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
He has to go away and think about that and go, this usually works, this do you want to date me while I'm dating somebody else thing. How come it didn't work with her? She's special, right?
Yes.
And you keep holding that bar high.
Yeah, that's why I've been alone for 6 years.
I know, and it can get lonely over there, can't it? Yes.
I'm very tired of the situation. I'm frustrated, but
I know. Sometimes you just want to sell out. Well, so there's and listen. When I first met my wife, Azita, there were several other women in my life that I was interested in. Now I wasn't dating them yet, but I was kind of interested in them, and I'd sort of given them a call, and I was thinking about asking them out, and so I was in a, I was in the process of considering dating several different women, and I hadn't made up my mind, but then I met her, and it was like, oh, if I even call her, it's going to be all over, right? I knew that if I went out with my wife that I would fall in love with her, so I was kind of avoiding it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Because I wanted to do this other thing first. I'd been married for a long time, and I wanted to date for a while. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready to be serious, but I knew that if I met her, it would be serious.
I understand that.
Yeah, so I was kind of holding that back for a while. Now, she just continued to be who she was, and she let me know on no uncertain terms that she was only interested in dating somebody who was willing to consider being married, because she wanted to be married, and she didn't want to just play around and date somebody that wasn't interesting to her. And I said, well, maybe, so then I tried what guys try. I said, maybe we could be friends. And she said, I have a lot of friends. I don't need, I don't need another friend that looks like you, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have to have a guy in my life that I'm attracted to for a friend, you know? Go get your own friends, I don't need any. And so, that friend thing just didn't work out, she wasn't buying that.
Yeah, she's smart.
Yeah, so finally I had to come clean and say, will you go out with me? And she said, no. She said, what happened to this friend thing, And I said, I have to tell you the truth. My intentions are purely romantic,
Yeah.
And she appreciated my honesty. And she realized that even though I was being honest, I was also willing to risk being rejected, because she could have said no, right? So, and she did about 10 more times, but I kept trying.
Oh, good.
But that's my story, okay? She actually did me a service, because she actually forced me into a situation by being who she was, by standing her ground. I had to confront that everybody else that I was considering was really just kind of a play around thing. It wasn't serious. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I actually was serious, even though I didn't feel like I was ready to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And then once I got that clear in my mind, there was just no stopping me. She rejected me many times after that, and I just kept coming back, because I got clear that I wasn't willing to waste any of my time and money and energy and years playing around with somebody I wasn't really serious about. I believe that you can do that, and again, all of the wisdom that she was coming from, the wisdom that she was standing in, when she was able to be so strong about that, is in that book, Girl Talk.
I actually read that book. Yeah? I ordered 2 of your books, that one and the Unfinished Business.
Yeah, good.
I have read both. And,
well, take a look at the 12 stages. Listen to the 12 stages. I really, I propose that you do that because it's from a guy's point of view who has been through all of those stages a few times, and I've been able to distinguish the natural phases that we move through that will give you the strength to build a relationship that would last a lifetime and be able to identify when a man's ready and when not. One of the things I cover in there that women find very valuable is I distinguish the things that a woman can listen for and look for and listen to find out if a man is ready to be in a relationship with her. There's 3 distinct things, and you can figure out in 15, 20 minutes if a guy's ready or not.
Thank you very much for all the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
And for your help and taking my calls.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and take these calls. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Hello, this is Gregory.
Hello.
Hi, you're live on the air. How are you?
Yes, how are you, Gregory?
Good.
Thank you for your program.
Thank you. It's an honor, really. I love doing it.
Did you just mention that you are going to be a trainer for the Warrior and Enlightened Warriors?
You bet.
Oh, the one with Dan Millman program?
No, I love Dan Millman too, yes. But no, Dan Millman is called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and this particular workshop that I will be training is called the Enlightened Warrior Training Camp.
Oh, okay.
And I got to tell you, they have a lot of the same principles.
Yeah.
They have a lot of the same principles. Dan Millman, I have read his book years and years ago and began to live the way of the peaceful warrior.
Oh, I love that. I have that on CD, and I listen to that regularly when I have a chance. It's just wonderful.
Yes.
But iPod has been one of the most wonderful inventions that there is, and I have a lot of seminars and all of your programs on my iPod, and I listen to them. And
that's awesome.
Including other stuff that I had mentioned before.
I'm honored. I'm in good company if I'm with Dan Millman and those guys.
Oh, yes. Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer.
They're my teachers too, yes.
And Byron Katie and all of those people. I really have a lot of wonderful people to listen to.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's why it's just... it adds a lot to doing the laundry, doing the dishes, cooking.
Yes, I know.
Things of that nature when I'm listening to my iPod. So anyway, either one of those two, if you would care to enlighten us,
great.
Steps in finishing unfinished business, and
I'll tell you about the unfinished business.
I'll
tell you about the unfinished business one, okay?
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What she's referring to is a program that my wife has called Unfinished Business, and it comes in a book in English and in Farsi, and it also comes in CDs, both English and in Farsi. The English CDs are called Unfinished Business, A Journey to the Heart of Recovery. And many people hear the word recovery, and so they think, oh, it's only for addicts, it's about people who are addicted to stuff. That's not for me. Guess again. Every person that we know, including you and myself, has some kind of unfinished business from the past. And this unfinished business will cause us to continue to have compulsive type of behavior. So whether that's eating too much, sleeping too much, watching too much TV, smoking, drinking, sex, alcohol, gambling, all of those are compulsive types of behavior, not in and of themselves, but when they are carried beyond a certain point, and that point is this. When the behavior has begun to actually cause damage in your relationships, in your health, in your finances, in other words, it's damaging your life, and you continue to do it anyhow. That's when it's compulsive, because obviously your large cerebral cortex is designed to have you make decisions based on good reasoning, and your good reasoning is not operating. Something else is operating, and what's operating is, in a category called compulsive or subconscious behavior that is pushing you to do something even though it's damaging to yourself, to your friends, your family, your finances, your job, yet you continue to do it. And this compulsion doesn't care anything at all about you. It doesn't care care about who you are. It doesn't care about your family, your finances, your home, your job. It is an automatic mechanism designed for survival, and it is based in, we have discovered, some unfinished business from the past that we carry forward and project into the future. In other words, this bad thing that happened in the past, whatever it is, or this unfinished or incomplete cycle of events is trying to complete itself. And so it begins to be a compulsion, and then a habit, and then a way of life, and then it just becomes who you are, and then you get sick and broken, and your friends leave you and you die. It will kill you. Unfinished business can be an incomplete communication, a thwarted intention, like you intended to have something turn out a way, incomplete communication, a thwarted intention, an unfulfilled expectation. You may have expected something that your life had given you a certain pattern. You may have expected it didn't happen and you got upset about it and it never got completed. And so that's the background on unfinished business, the basis upon which this technology was developed by my wife, Dr. Azita Sayan. It is a three-part system, and we call it the BIC system, although I think that's, not necessarily the greatest name I could come up with, but it's BIC. It's like a triangle, and it means belonging, communication, and integrity. BIC. So belonging, integrity, and communication. Sorry. So like a triangle, am I making a good triangle here with my fingers? Like a triangle, if any part of the triangle breaks down, the whole triangle breaks down. And who we are as powerful human beings is dependent upon belonging. It is a basic human need that we belong. We feel that we belong with our parents, that we belong as a human being, that we have a right to be here, that we belong to the human race, or to our culture, or our tribe, or our species. There's a sense of belonging that if that gets broken, then we will feel isolated and alone. And we will naturally go out of communication with other people, we'll stop communicating, and we'll begin to live in a little private world of our own, which means, another way of saying that, is that you live in a different reality than everybody else. There's all of them, and then there's me over here. So when belonging is broken, communication naturally breaks down, and since there's no one there but you, integrity is broken. You begin to have no integrity, meaning you have no integrity with yourself. Who cares if you do something that's destructive to your body, mind, spirit, emotional state, right? Because there's only you and you have no integrity, you're broken. So the BIC system, or the system for reestablishing and completing unfinished business, is about reestablishing belonging. How do you do that? Through communication. You get in communication with whoever it is that you're not communicating with, and you communicate what? You communicate what needs to be said to have it be complete and restored and whole again. Once you have reestablished communication and belonging, then it's important to maintain integrity. That means to say that your words actually begin to have some meaning in the world. Like, I'll be there at 3 means that you're there at 5 minutes till 3, just to make sure that you're there at 3. I will call you tomorrow, means you definitely make the call tomorrow. In other words, you begin to do what you say you will do when you said you will do it. So it's not only that you do the thing, but you do it when you said you would, because all communications and all actions take place where? In time and space. They take place in time, at a specific time. There's a time when it didn't happen, there's a time when it's happening, and there's a time after it happens. So all things, including communication and belonging, happen in time. And they also happen at a specific place in the universe, like a distance. They're not this table is happening here, it's not happening over there. It's happening in a specific location. If it wasn't, the whole room would be table. The whole universe would be table. So there has to be a specific time and place. So without getting too theoretical, that is the basis of the system. It's not 3 steps. There's a 12-step system for recovering from addictions. This is not that. This is something else. This is a system in which there are only 3 things that you have to pay attention to: belonging, integrity, and communication. And that establishes what we call the circle of power. So if you can imagine a triangle with a circle inside of it, that is what maintains the circle of power or influence. Then your words and who you are begin to become law in your universe. They begin to have meaning and power and significance, and you just simply would not be the kind of person who would do anything that would damage themselves or anybody else, because you have integrity, you belong, and you're in communication. You say what needs to be said when it needs to be said in order to have it be where? In the past. So you don't carry things around from the past and keep carrying them and bringing them into your future, which is depressing, and which is also a reason why many people get addicted, because they look out into their future and they just see more of the depressing things that happened in their past. The phone lines are open. I have only a few minutes left in the show, so I'm here really to answer your questions and not just to lecture you about the things that happen in relationships. I'd love to share those things with you, and I always bring a lot of stuff that I'd like to share with you. But the best way to find out about me and my wife and the work that we do is to go to embracegrowth.com. You'll always be able to find out about our latest workshops, seminars, products. I offer special discounts to people who are part of our newsletter, and that are only for the people that are part of our newsletter. You will also be able to view some of our DVDs and our CDs, listen to our CDs online. We have a new thing called a media page. So when you go to embracegrowth.com, check out our new multimedia page where you can listen to the CDs. You can see photo galleries of the various workshops and places that we go. We always like to share those things with our friends. And also listen to 5 of our DVDs and watch them on a little screen there in the multimedia page. I've offered this in the past, and I'm offering it now for a limited time. I'm available. I will make myself available for a free 15-minute consultation to people who are watching my show. If you have questions, I will give you 15 minutes of my time, and we'll find out if it's something that you would like to work together with me on. And I'm going to take this last call before we wrap the show up. Hello, this is Gregory, and you're live on the air.
Hi, Mr. Gregory. How are you? Thank
I'm
you
good.
For your program.
Thank you.
I have a question. If your loved one is on drug and outside, and you're going to, and someone going to Al-Anon, and as you know, Iranian culture is different. As an immigrant, we are different from the American, and Al-Anon's tradition and steps is, you have to ask your loved one to go out.
Yeah, here, let me help you out here. You're going out with somebody that is addicted to drugs, and you are going to Al-Anon. Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about you and your relationship.
No. It's about my child. It's not a relationship.
It's about your child. Okay, so you have a child that's addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to Al-Anon.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and so
my question is, their steps and their tradition, and they is about if they are dangerous, they have to go out.
Yeah. Now listen. But you're already arguing with the program that you're in.
I'm not, but I'm asking you. Our culture is different.
No, your culture is made up of human beings. Your culture is made up of human beings, and so many Persians hide behind our culture is different, and that's why you have a large addicted population, and you also have a large population of people with relationships that don't work. Now, I'm not saying that out of disrespect. I'm saying it out of pure observation. It's my educated observation that people play that Persian culture card as a way of avoiding confronting their own humanity. You're a human being, yes? Mm-hmm. Your son's a human being. Your son is addicted to drugs, and you have something to do with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what. I'm not blaming you. Nobody would. But you do have something to do with it in that relationship, And what's important is that you handle your end of it. You can't do anything about him being addicted to drugs. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Only he can. He's the only person in the whole world that can do anything about that. And he will only do it when he's good and ready. Do you understand that? Now, listen, I have a brother who's addicted to drugs. Do you understand?
Yes.
And my brother called me and was living on the street and asked me to come to my house. Now, you know what I had to tell him? And it was the hardest thing, and I have to live with it every day. I had to tell him, no, you can't come to my house. Do you know why? Do you understand why I had to say that?
Yes, because he's not helping himself, and I'm sure he's going to be harmful to others too.
I told him, if you're ready to get off of drugs, I will do anything, any amount of money, anything, to help you do that. There's nothing I would hold back if you're ready to do that. He said, don't tell me how to live my life. I said, you can't come to my house then, because he would steal my stuff, first of all. Then he would start using my address to deal drugs, and he would have other drug addicts over to my house. Do you understand?
Yes.
Isn't that what your son's doing?
Well, not at that time when I asked him to move out, and the reason I'm just talking about the guilt part.
Yeah, listen,
Already.
you got to let that go. I know it's really, really hard. You're a mother, right? It's the hardest thing. This is my brother. That's your son. So I understand. I don't mean to compare my pain to yours, okay? I understand. But you are not guilty. It is not your fault that your son is a drug addict. You did not do that. That's his choices. He's making those choices, okay? And I know that it's really hard for you to understand as a mother that you didn't do that, but you didn't. You didn't do that. He did. And he's doing it every time he makes that choice.
Yeah, but what is my understanding as an immigrant, as a person didn't have a father, didn't have any model, so...
You're not guilty. You did the best. Did you give him the best you could?
Uh-huh.
Have you always done that? Have you always given your son your very best?
Yeah.
I believe you. You got your job done. You got your job done. All right? Now are there other people in that home besides you?
No.
Just you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you important enough to protect?
Yes.
Okay, then I suggest you protect yourself from a drug addict, okay? Would you let any other drug addict come in your house?
Oh, no way.
No, but you would let your son, right?
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, that's not your son, that's a drug addict. I know your son's in there somewhere, but what's running the show is his addiction. That's what's running the show. Listen, I have a friend, okay? He has a twin brother who backed a truck up to his house and took his grand piano and sold it for drugs when he was gone to work, all right?
But he
wanted to help his brother, so he said, yeah, you could stay at my house. The brother, got on the phone, called a truck, you know? Listen, they don't care. When it comes down to getting their fix, they don't care. You got to trust me on this. You called me, so I assume that you trust me on this. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's not about being an immigrant, and it's not about being a bad mother, and it's not any of that stuff. You've given your best. Your job as a parent is to give your best. But once, like Gahil Gibran, I know I don't say it like the Persians do, but Halil Gibran, right? He says about raising children, your job is to aim the arrow like an archer, but once you release the arrow, it takes flight, and it'll either hit its mark or it won't. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. You aimed as good as you could. They're telling me that my time is up.
Okay,
but
thank you very much.
If you're going to go to Al-Anon, listen to what the Al-Anon coach says. They are the best there is, okay? They know what they're talking about and what they're dealing with. You get yourself straight in relationship to your son, and it will improve his chances of getting sober.
Yeah, I'm doing, but sometimes the guilt part comes and it's just killing.
Well, you can call and use my time for 15 minutes. I offered people a free 15-minute consultation. I can tell you a lot about guilt. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Don't let guilt stop you about anything. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching my show. It's really a privilege and an honor to participate with you in your lives and to be able to talk with you about the most intimate things that are going on in your lives. I don't take this privilege lightly. It's a great, great honor, and thank you. You thank me often. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be of service. My name's Gregory Morgan. You've been watching Love Talk, and I'll be back here again next week.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. تورنتو 21 تا 23 سپتامبر، همبورگ 19 تا 21 اکتبر، ایروان ارمنستان 15 تا 17 آگوست، لس آنجلس 2 تا 4 نوامبر، 310 460 2600. در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. ایروان ارمنستان 7 تا 9 فوریه، لس آنجلس 22 تا 24 فوریه، تورنتو 15 تا 17 مارچ و همبورگ 26 تا 28 آپریل، 310 460 2600. از این پس برنامه دنیای عشق رو از جم USA روزهای جمعه 9 شب، شنبه 11:30 شب، یک شنبه 1:30 ظهر و دوشنبه 8:30 صبح به وقت لس آنجلس دنبال کنید. خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در برنامه دنیای عشق جوابگوی سوالات شما هستند و به مباحث مهمی همچون ازدواج، تربیت فرزندان، افسردگی، طلاق، سکس، همجنسگرایی، خیانت و هزاران موضوع متنوع دیگر می‌پردازند. برای اطلاعات بیشتر از برنامه‌ها، سمینارها و کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید و یا از اپلیکیشن و یا وبسایت Embrace Growth دیدن کنید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth همکنون در اپ استور. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید پروفایل خود را مدیریت و زبان مورد نظر خود را بین فارسی و انگلیسی انتخاب کنید. وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. محصولات از جمله CD، DVD و کتاب‌ها را خریداری و دانلود نمایید و یا برای کارگاه‌ها و سمینارها نام‌نویسی کنید. همچنین شما می توانید به برنامه‌های تلویزیونی و رادیویی دکتر سایان و یا آقای مورگن به صورت رایگان دسترسی داشته باشید. اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید. برنامه دنیای عشق با دکتر آزیتا سایان، برنامه‌ای که تمامی سوال‌های شما را جواب می‌دهد. ازدواج، عشق، سکس، همجنسگرایی، فرزندان، والدین، خیانت. از یوتیوب لایو استریم، فیسبوک و اینستاگرام لایو. سه شنبه ها و پنج شنبه ها 10 شب به وقت ایران و 10:30 صبح به وقت لس آنجلس. تلفن تماس با استودیو 818 532 6655.